Hey everyone, welcome. In this explainer, we're going to dive right into Unit 4, Lesson 5. And by the end of this, you're going to walk away with the exact skills you need to absolutely master your upcoming quiz.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll kick things off with the big idea of the lesson. Then we're going to walk through the key calculations together, step by step. And finally, and this is the important part, I'll show you how all of this connects directly to the questions on your quiz.
So, what's Lesson 5 really all about? You know, when you boil it all down, it's about using numbers, cold, hard data, to see if an idea or a claim actually holds water. And this is really the key question, right? I know when you first see a big data table, it can look kind of intimidating, but it's just a tool. That's all it is. It's a tool that helps us answer questions with facts, not just feelings.
All right, check this out. Here's a really interesting puzzle from your lesson, all about transportation costs. This table breaks down the monthly cost of owning a car, leasing one, or taking public transit, and it's all based on how far you travel to work.
So, the lesson basically throws down a challenge. It asks you to test this big idea, what we call a hypothesis. But here's the thing, before we can prove or disprove it, we need to build our calculation skills. We've got to know how to analyze these numbers the right way.
Okay, so we're going to hit the pause button on that whole transportation thing for just a sec. First, we're going to build up our math muscles with a totally different set of data. This one's about sports fans. Let's see how this builds the exact skill you're going to need.
So, I'm going to walk you through this very first calculation step by step. Think of this as the I do part of our plan. Just follow along and see how it's done.
Okay, here's the data we're going to play with. It shows how much money fans of 3 different football teams spent in 3 different cities in Texas. And for right now, let's just zoom in on the Dallas Cowboys fans.
So this is the very first skill you've got to nail, finding the total amount of money spent. It's pretty straightforward, really. We're just going to multiply the number of fans in each city by what they spent on average. We do that for Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio, and then we just add those 3 numbers up.
And just like that, boom! There's our answer for question 1 from the lesson. That's the grand total spent by all the Dallas Cowboys fans in this survey. Simple enough, right? Okay, let's build on it.
Awesome. Okay, on to the next big skill, finding the weighted average. And this is super important. It's not just any old average. This is the we do part, so we're going to tackle this one together. So what the heck is a weighted average? Well, think of it as a smarter, more accurate kind of average. It's called weighted because a city with a ton of fans, like Dallas with 325 Cowboys fans, is going to have a much bigger impact or more weight on that final average. Makes sense, right? So, it all comes down to this simple 3-step process. Step 1, hey, we already did that. That's our total spending. For Step 2, we just find the total number of fans by adding them all up. And for the grand finale, Step 3, we divide the total money spent by the total number of fans.
You run the numbers, and that gives us our answer for question 3. On average, a Dallas Cowboys fan in this group spent about $526. See? That number gives us a much more accurate picture of what's really going on.
All right, so you saw me do one, we did one together, now it's your turn to get in the driver's seat. This is the you do part, where you get to apply this skill yourself.
Your mission is to use that exact same 3-step method we just learned to figure out the average spending for the Texans fans and for the Steelers fans. This will get you the answers for questions 4 and 5 in your lesson. So go ahead, hit pause on this explainer, give it a shot, and then come on back.
Okay, you back? Let's see how you did. The average for a Texans fan should be $546.94, and for a Steelers fan, $475.44. And this is cool, because now that we have all 3 averages calculated, we can actually use these numbers to test that idea from before.
So let's circle back to that hypothesis from question 6 in your lesson. Remember, the claim was Dallas Cowboys fans spent more on average. Well, looking at this chart, which lays out our hard data, is that statement true?
And nope, not even close. The data clearly shows that the hypothesis was not confirmed. The Houston Texans fans actually spent the most on average. See? This is exactly why we do the math. It lets us swap out our guesses for actual proven facts. All right, let's tie this all together. Why did we just spend all this time talking about football fans? Because you are going to use this exact skill on your Unit 4 quiz too.
Okay, so when you see this on your quiz, don't panic. I know it looks new. We're talking about students and food, not sports fans. But take a closer look. It's the same exact kind of problem. You've got different groups of people and their average spending.
And guess what? The way you solve it is identical to what we just practiced. It's that same three-step process for calculating a weighted average. You've already done the hard work. You totally got this.
So, what's the bottom line here? You now know that these data tables, they're just tools to test ideas. You know that finding a weighted average gives you the real story. And most importantly, you know that you have already practiced the exact skills you need for this quiz. So, you're walking away from this with a really powerful tool to analyze data and check if claims are true. I mean, think about it. Calculating your final grade in a class, comparing product reviews online, understanding sports stats. Where else could you use this? You've got this skill now. Good luck on your quiz.